Hey there, and welcome back to Utility Sports. In today's video, we are going to be talking about the changes in the MLB baseballs. If you do enjoy MLB content, this is the place to subscribe. So right now, go ahead, hit that subscribe button. Also, leave a like on the video if you learned something new. So looking at the MLB baseballs, obviously we saw a ginormous spike in the home runs in the 2019 season. There was a MLB record 6,776 home runs hit in that 2019 campaign. That caused a lot of discussion. A lot of MLB pitchers were complaining. Obviously, the balls were traveling further, a lot more home runs, a lot of offensive firepower, and that didn't sit well with everyone. I think it's fair to say that some of the younger generation does enjoy watching a lot of home runs, a lot of offense, a lot of excitement that way. But then there's still some of the traditionalists that enjoy watching a great, pitching game where it could be a 1-0 ball game. Obviously, the offensive explosion that kind of caused some issues, and there's a lot of criticisms of the baseball. And what they came to find out in the lab was the reason that was because of a inconsistency in the seam height, therefore causing it to really drag less through the air. Um, so that ultimately caused that whole spike in 2019. It did go down a little bit in 2020, and that's due to a lot of factors, obviously because of the whole COVID thing. But looking at the baseballs now, they're really looking to make a change here. They kind of want to get back to where it has a little bit more drag through the air. And what they've come to find out now, after they've altered the baseballs once again, that it will be traveling just a little shorter. It could be anywhere from 1 to 3 feet when the balls are hit over 375 feet. That's after testing the lab. It's going to be a little shorter. I think that the MLB does recognize that they kind of possibly need to get back to where they were, and I think historically speaking, it kind of it kind of ruined the integrity of the game just by altering the baseballs like they did. I think you have to try to keep that same baseball just so a lot of the records stay. It's impressive to have some of those guys in the earlier days to obviously have some of those records that they have. But I mean, if you alter a baseball, that's going to really change the history books, right? Because more guys will be hitting more home runs every season, and that's going to continue on and on and on. And eventually, the guys in the era where the baseballs didn't travel as far become phased out of the game from the record books. I don't necessarily think that's going to happen, but if you keep it at the pace of, letting these baseballs be a little looser on like the seam height, I think that's going to be a problem. I'm one of those that thinks that you want to try to keep the game as close to its origination as you can. You still want the game to be exciting, but I also think that the integrity of the game, the historical part of the game, is really big, especially in the game of baseball, a game of numbers. Baseball is so much a game of numbers and statistics that it's important that we have the same baseball, in my opinion. I do, once again, I think honestly the reason the MLB did this secretly was they wanted better ratings. They wanted the younger generation to be more interested with seeing the long ball. But ultimately, I don't see that being the right way to fix the game. I think that they need to loosen up on their, the whole unwritten rules of baseball a little bit. I think people, need to celebrate more, but altering the baseball is not the way for me. I think we need to get back to the era with a little more drag. I think that's the direction they're going in. Garrett Cole here said that he does think that it's pretty much the same. He said it felt the same, and it should for the most part. Obviously, with the seams will be adjusted this season. We'll kind of see if that makes a big difference in the home run spike that we saw in 2019. And I think it will ultimately. Obviously, if it's not traveling as far, we won't see as many home runs. But I think this is a good thing for baseball, kind of getting back to where we need to be as a sport. But it's kind of good to hear that they don't feel a huge difference in terms of how it's being thrown. So that's kind of a big thing too. You don't want to have just when you make an alteration again, these guys just kind of pitchers are very particular about the feel of a baseball. Obviously, that's their whole job, is just working with that baseball, how to manipulate the baseball, how to spin the baseball. So if it doesn't feel much different from last year, that's okay. I think that's kind of what you want. You want these pitchers to feel comfortable yet, and I think we need to kind of make it once again, a pitcher's game in that sense, where they can really control a game, because honestly, I think that's very exciting too. I think people don't appreciate that enough. Seeing a really good complete game shutout, or just a complete game in general, obviously is really fun to watch as well. So thanks so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please leave a like if you learned something new today, and I can't wait to see you guys in the next video.